Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to take a look at the changeable signs on 50. Now I did do a video like this with 66 years ago. I'm pretty sure I walked through the way it works and all that, but I mean it's pretty much the same, but I figured some of you might like to see it on 50, so we'll just go ahead and do it anyway. I'm starting with the back because it's easier to do. The front, you've got to reposition the rear view mirror and do all that stuff, which is not that it's hard. I don't know, then we'll do it first. So basically, I'm going to try not to take up the entire screen. So basically the way this works is you've got two knobs on each side of the door, and I mean they're just twist knobs. Basically just like what's holding the little compartment up front above the door that opens up for access to the components for the doors, the open close mechanism for the door. So this just lifts up like this. Now, as you'll see, there's a clip, kind of looks like a dog leash, like that. So obviously it's got two different places where you can put it to kind of, when the door's closed. But the way this works is you've got a clip in the roof up here that you clip this onto, so that way it holds the door. Now, what I will say about this is I feel like the positioning on 50 is a little bit weirder than the positioning was on 66, because this little hook was like here. I mean, that's not exact, but it was further out, so that way the door was like this and you had more visibility. I don't know why they put it so close. Maybe the fact that 66 was a rear engine and it had the engine cover had something to do with it, but I mean at the end of the day, even to get to 66's door, you still had to climb up on top of the engine cover, so I don't know. But anyways, so this is what it looks like when it's open, of course. You can see the charter sign. Well, the charter is upside down, but this is the sign. It's metal. On newer buses, it's plastic, which I've recently seen on a 3rd gen that a plastic sign melted, warped from being, in the roof cap. Because it gets pretty hot in this roof cap. So, yeah. They should have left it metal. I know they went to plastic to to cut down on costs and, to save weight maybe, but I'd say it's more for cutting down on costs. But the metal school bus sign, much better, in my opinion. So, obviously, on the other side of this, it says school bus. And the way it's held in is you've got two clips that are up in the actual sign holder. We'll call it that. I'm sure there's a better word for it. So obviously that's the sign. So I'm going to go ahead and take the sign out so you guys can see into it. And it seems like even between 50 and 66 there are differences, which I'll kind of show you. There's a big difference when you get up front. But I don't remember 66's sign frames having the little... you can't see them here because they're down lower, but I'll point them to you when we go up front. But 66's didn't have the little holders for the bottom of the sign, or at least I don't remember it having that. So there was a little bit of a design change. I'm pretty sure. 66 could have had the little holders, and I'm just forgetting, but I am pretty sure it did not. This, I feel like the frame sits a little bit lower. From what I remember on 66, this opening was level with the frame, so that way you could just kind of slide it in there and lock the latches. And 66, for some reason, was missing the latch on this side. And fun fact, when I got 66, it only had one school bus sign in it, and it was the back sign. So anyway, so the way this works is normally you've got 4 bulbs in here, so you'd have 2 on each side of the frame, and that's what would light up your school bus sign. And I'll come get you, and that way we can look inside. So this is what the frame looks like. This is where your bulbs would go. So you got 1, 2. This is one of the wiring connections for the bulbs. Because when they went in and we'll just use the word disconnected. They cut all the wires, so now my job's going to be a little bit more difficult. There's the other side where the bulbs would go. And this, let's see, where is it? I gotta position this so I can see what I'm pointing at. Right here, this is what I'm talking about. I swear 66 didn't have those, but maybe it did and I just don't remember. But anyways, so that's what the inside of the school bus sign holder looks like. And you know, there's another look at the two positions for the bulb sockets. And you can see there's all kinds of wiring that's zip tied around the top of the frame. The wiring for the camera is still, this right here this is the wiring for the camera system, still in here. They just took the cameras. So anyway, that's what the back looks like. I'll go ahead and put the sign back in so you guys can see what that looks like. Just give me a second here. So I don't know if 50 ever got used for a charter, so I don't know if it ever read the charter. Good thing is 50 school bus lettering is mint, and some of the older ones, the school bus lettering developed bubbles like really bad. So like the 99s and like the early 2000s, I don't know what they were doing, but they developed air bubbles really bad. But 50 school bus signs, both of them, no air bubbles, so I'm happy about that. The only other set of school bus signs that I have that did not have any air bubbles was from our old 77, which was a 98 Amtran RE. But I'm glad 50s does not have air bubbles. So the way you got to do this is you kind of have to put it in at an angle going up and then down, and then you try to get it in line with those little holders. Now you can see I missed the holders, so now the school bus sign is sitting way too low. But it's pretty much just, you got to get it into those little holders that I showed you guys. And then you kind of line up the sides with the side of the frame as best as you can, so that way it's even. And then you pull down the little holders. But yeah, that's how you get the sign in and out of the frame for the school bus sign. We'll go ahead and start putting this back together so you guys can see the whole process, I guess. This is a lot easier to do on here, whereas 66 I had to climb up on the engine bay. I mean, it wasn't difficult, but like honestly standing here and doing it is much easier than, you know, getting up there and sitting down and trying to, you know, do all that while you're on top of the engine bay. But yeah, let's go ahead and move to the front of the bus. So we're up at the front. In the front, on the conventional versus the rear engine, I don't think the front engine would have had this. Maybe the front engine would have also had this kind of setup. I don't know, because I've never been on a front engine with this setup for the signs. But I know at least on the RE, which I'm trying to visualize in my mind, I think it'd be the same, because the Transits have a little bit more of the spacer for the high headroom option. There was a little bit more panel there because obviously the windshield went down, like it sat down lower than that. Like the top of the windshield was a little bit lower, so you had more metal, and the windshield went down further because it's Transit. So anyways, that, like, the roof cap is completely different. So like you wouldn't have the issue where this door would interfere with the driver rear view mirror. But on this conventional, obviously you do. So all you gotta do is reposition the mirror, of course. Again, you've got the two knobs to unscrew to open it, so it just lifts up like the rear one did. And once again, you've got your line with the snap, or the, I don't know what you'd call this. I am honestly blanking on the word, but you get my point. You've got the connector, we'll call it the connector. So the little loop for the connector is right here on the front, and it seems to hang up a little bit higher than the one in the back does, which is awesome. I'm going to take this broom out because there is a broom in there. So you may notice how the sign is sitting up higher. That's like where I was saying, like, this part is not visible on the back of the bus. They put the frame in higher up here just because of how the roof cap is, you know, done. So you might be able to see a little bit better, like these little things that hold in the school bus signs, little holders. So once again, now you can't see the little clips. So now the clips are obviously up here in the roof cap. And I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was decommissioning one of our 2002s earlier this year, I just went ahead and took the school bus signs out so that way it wouldn't read school bus. And of course, when I went to open this and started fiddling with the signs, there was a wasp. I don't know if there was a nest. There honestly probably was. But there was a wasp up in like this part of the roof cap up here somewhere. And it was quite an experience trying to lift the sign up out of the holders to where it could get down to where I could catch it. And then trying also not to inadvertently make the wasp mad. So it was like I'd move it a little bit and then I'd run off the bus just in case the wasp wanted to follow me. And then I'd come back and try to get the sign. Well, eventually I got the sign out, but like that's just a fun little wasp bus story. So anyways, I'll go ahead and take this out so you guys can see that demonstrated. So just lift up, get it out of the holders. God, this sign is hot, very hot. So yeah, that's what the front here looks like. Let me get this out of the way. It's very hot. So that's basically the view out of the front window. I thought I heard something flying around back there. Anyway, that's the view out of the front window. You can tell that the frame is definitely sitting up higher up here just because, like I said, the way the roof cap is designed. And again, you can see where they cut my wires, and all this is going to have to be rewired to get these bulbs working. I will be getting these bulbs working because I want them to light up. So that is a goal which I've been talking about for forever. So yeah, that is the front school bus sign. Let me go ahead and get that back in the frame there so we can finish off. And so how you got to do this is much like the back. You've got to kind of push it in higher so you can get it and set it in the little holders. And once you got it in the holders, you can just kind of guide it down. Now up here, the sign kind of bends because when the bus was built, they put the wiring, just like in the back, they zip tied parts of the wiring to the top of the frame. So you kind of don't really have much room. Like you can kind of push it out of the way, but with it being zip tied, there's not really much I can do with it. Where's that clip at? So just put the clips down. And from what I know, this is pretty much the same exact frame and setup as it would be on a newer bus with this option. Now, the state of Ohio does not allow this particular option anymore. And from my understanding, if the bus was built with it, obviously you still had it, but if the bus was built with it, the lights could still be operational. Well, we took things, I don't know if it was Laidlaw and or for a student that was like, no, we're not doing it, or if it was us that was like, no, take the lights out, remove the switches. I feel like how it was handled was overkill, but this was also 15 plus years ago, so well, maybe it wasn't 15 plus, it was at least 15 years ago. So that's just my opinion. I'm not saying anything to reflect on the people that did it. They did what they could with what they had. But anyways, we'll go ahead and unclip this and close the sign and snap those shut. Well, I guess they're not really snaps. And then let me sit down so I can reposition my mirror because now I'm looking at the floor. Oh, there you guys are. Hi. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I pretty much filmed this with 66, but I figured I'd do it with 52 since there are some differences. And, I mean, it's 50. Why not? And I feel like I went a little bit more in depth with this video. So, once I do get these lights working again, I will obviously do a video. And I'm going to have to figure out a way to get here after, I mean, not complete dark, but going to have to figure out a way to get something together where we can film this in the dark with the lights on. So, yeah. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. And, yeah.